Morning, everyone. Welcome to the weekly meeting. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Zohar Morales. I'm an alumni of this program, completed it back in December of 2021. So my wife and I are coming up on 3 years of being in the real estate business and just making it happen out here in Hawaii. The Lord has been providing, and we're grateful for that. And so today we're going to be continuing in our series talking about realtor schedule architecture. So same rules apply as previous meetings. If you are in a safe situation, I'd appreciate if you put your camera on so I'm not just staring at a bunch of names. And then if you are also in a safe situation, you want to contribute, you can drop a comment in the chat box or unmute yourself or raise your hand using the reactions button at the bottom of the screen. You can hit that raise hand feature, or if you want to clap, cheer me on, you can hit the clap feature as well. So I'll jump right into it. I'll drop the link for this presentation into the chat box. I don't like doing full screen because when you do full screen, this is kind of a mental note for you guys for the future. If you're ever hosting any kind of Zoom meeting where you want to repurpose that video for social media, anything like that. So for those of you that haven't seen on the YouTube channel, these meetings are posted on there after we record them. And if you share screen on there, it'll just be my head in the corner with my presentation, which isn't that big of a deal, but I think it's better to have a little bit of an audience in there showing that I'm not just talking to myself. So let me pull up the chat box and drop that in there. And when you click on it, you'll notice that it's the same slide deck as last week. I just added on some more slides for what we're talking about today, which is the weekly routine piece. And so for those of you that are following along, we're on slide 5 of 9. And so I titled this Rocks and Sand. So a lot of you have probably heard of the metaphor of putting rocks and sand into a jar. And so if you start off with the sand and then you put pebbles and then you try to fit the rocks in, it just doesn't work out because of how the size of things and how they settle into the jar. And then if you do it the other way around, if you put the rocks in first and then the pebbles and then the sand, everything manages to fit. And then you can even add in water to fill in the really tiny gaps. And so that metaphor is used in a number of ways, but the way I'm applying it today is that there's important things in life and there's things that are less important, and that might vary depending on your situation. If you're a single person, you're just trying to get things going, maybe you prioritize spending time with friends over family because of whatever your dynamics are. But figuring out what those important things are and putting those on your schedule first will help your life to be in balance. And because you might start off, going pedal to the metal, which is working, and your like mental, spiritual, physical health is kind of balanced out, but eventually you'll hit a burnout point because the things that are more important to you that really fill your cup, if those things aren't taking a priority in your schedule, you'll just start to lose a sense of purpose and kind of just reach a burnout point. I don't know if I mentioned last week, but I went to this conference a couple weeks ago for EXP Build. It's like a big kind of recruiting conference / motivational conference. And I left kind of depressed from the conference because majority of the speakers got up there and they're like, yeah, I used to be with Remax and I was the top agent in the world, all this stuff. And then my wife left me. So got divorced. My family silenced me. All my teammates left, and my whole world was just falling apart. And then I came to EXP and I started recruiting and started helping people, which is cool because you're helping people progress in life. But the overall message I got from them was they just nonstop work and don't really put their priorities in order in their schedule in their life, and so they reach that burnout point. And it's just kind of an ongoing cycle. And for me, the number one priority in my life is my relationship with God. And so no matter what happens in my life, as long as that's there, even my family, if my family, disowns me, I still have my relationship with Christ. And so no matter what comes my way, I'm in a good position, and I still have joy in my life no matter what happens. Um, so yeah, from that motivational conference, I kind of walked away feeling a little bit depressed, but depressed for those people that don't kind of have like an empty void in their life. But if they were to adjust how they prioritize things in their life, they'll be in a much better position. And so that hopefully you take away some learning points from this presentation on that. So now moving on to slide 6. These are the verses that kind of guide this, especially the one on the right, which is Matthew 6:33 or 32 and 33. And I underlined the seek first part. So similar to what those people went through of kind of having this chaos in their life. Um, about a year ago, I was feeling kind of this like sense of anxiety of like, because I'd hop on these coaching calls and on all these different meetings and hear about how all these people are doing a million and one things and all the stuff that you can be doing and should be doing and could be doing and services you can sign up for, all that stuff. And I was just like overwhelmed with all the information that was coming in. And then I found this verse right here, and it just kind of a light bulb went off, and I was like, if I just do this, if I seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, then everything will fall into place. And it definitely has. And so, some of that seeking first kind of happened without really us realizing, or we were intentional about it, but um, before I kind of made this initiative to seek first, it was we made a priority of putting our relationship with God first in our schedule, and then and having like our priorities straight in our schedule so that our work doesn't take over our life like it oftentimes can in any profession, but especially in the military, because anything the military tells you to do, you are going to do it. Otherwise, you're going to get kicked out or in trouble. Moving on to slide number 7. So these are just kind of like the guideposts to help navigate with how I arrange my schedule. And this is my approach. You guys can use your approach. This is my recommendation. So it's just one example of how to arrange things. And so using that metaphor again, rocks first. So God and family. So you put those rocks in your schedule first, and then you start putting in the pebbles. So prospecting and lead gen, and then start adding in the professional training. And the reason I put professional training over physical training, and depending on who it is, you might flip it the other way around. Professional training takes a little more effort in scheduling and deconflicting with other people's schedule and stuff too. So I put that above physical training because you can throw on a pair of shoes and go running, or work out in your living room if you want to. So it's kind of like water and just can kind of flow into your schedule whenever you have time for it. And so like over the past week or so, I've been kind of busy taking care of my wife. She had a routine surgery. So I hadn't worked out in like 4 or 5 days. I was starting to feel it. And, but I was finally able to squeeze that in when I had a free moment. And so that's why I put that towards the bottom, because it can just kind of happen whenever it happens. And then that last little phrase on slide 7, when I have time never comes. And so you can kind of apply that to anything. And it's like someone's recommending like, oh, hey, you should um, sign up for the military relocation professional um, certification. And if you think you're to yourself, oh yeah, when I have time, I'll do that. It's that when I have time never comes. So if you put it on your schedule, it will happen. But if you just think to yourself, I'll just do it when I get around to it, then it's probably never going to happen. Same goes with the more important things in your life. So putting family first. Oh yeah, I just gotta get my business going, and then when I have time, I'll put my family first. I'll make it a priority to go to my kids' recital or sporting events or practice. When I have time, I'll do that. But it's never going to happen if you don't make it a priority and put it on your schedule now. Now moving on to page 8. And so similar to the daily routine or morning routine from last week, um, where it starts the night before, with the weekly schedule, it starts the week before. And so on weeks when I plan out my, because it's like an ongoing, um, like picking up your cross type of thing, where on Friday, Saturday, I'm like, I should probably prep for next week and just like write out in general what I have, because I already have emails confirming appointments with people and text messages that I have saved as unread. And so I need to put those on paper, because that's my brain operates best if I have it physically on a piece of paper, so I can see it and kind of imprint it in my brain. So when I'm on the phone with somebody and I don't have my schedule right in front of me, I still have that mental picture. But writing out that schedule the week before, so Friday, Saturday, maybe Sunday at the latest, is the ideal time to get it written out, so that when you wake up Monday morning, you're ready to just get after it and start executing the plan that you've laid out for yourself. Um, and so starting with the rocks, so Sunday morning, we go to church and we serve at our church. I highly recommend doing that, plugging into your community and contributing and having that sense of community, first and foremost, just for your spiritual mental health. But secondly, it might turn into business that you can help people out with. Last year, just off of one family that we connected with, and it wasn't really even like any kind of aggressive type of, hey, I'll help you sell your house type of thing. I just handed the lady our business card, and then fast forward, um, 4 or 5 months, she kind of, it was kind of interesting how it happened out, and it's kind of shows how God is providing for us. So, past client that we had helped out, connected with that client from our church, and that past client had nothing to do with our church. Um, but he connected with that lady that I had given my business card to over Facebook, and she was selling fish that her husband had caught, and he happened to reach out and asked if they still had fish, and then she asked him if, she's like, "Oh, you sold your house with Zoar and Samantha, right?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, they're great." And so he gave a good word for us to her, and then through that, she eventually reached out to us, and then we started talking, and we sold her $1.925 million house to her friends. And so we represented the sellers and the buyers. And in order for those buyers to buy that house, they had to sell their house that they were living in at the time for 1.6 million. And so we got that property sold, and then represented buyers and sellers. So altogether, over 5 million in sales right there, just stuff of handing a business card to someone in our community. And stuff like that will happen when you put things that matter the most first in your schedule. So then Sunday evening, it's kind of like the no later than time to write out your plan for the week, starting with the rocks. And then I put a couple of the rocks for us, for our family, and for our spiritual life. Family time at the farmer's market. So every Thursday we look forward to that. And it's important to have some kind of weekly event that you look forward to. In the military, it's always like that safety brief you're looking forward to, because after that, it's just like you're getting ready for the weekend. For us, now that I'm not in the military anymore, it's Thursdays that I look forward to, because I finish up with whatever work I'm doing by about 4 or 5 p.m. And then we walk down to the farmer's market with our dog, and he loves making friends there. Another way to network. And we just have a good time. And that kind of is a starting point for our weekend. Still work on Friday, obviously, but that is an important time that we look forward to, that kind of gives us motivation to keep pushing hard through the week to get to that point. And then we have Bible study that we go to on Thursday nights, and so the way we physically make God first in our schedule is by having that Bible study on Thursday night, and then church on Sunday. And so we don't allow anything to interfere with those items on our schedule. So there could be a $10 million client that asks us, "Hey, do you want to come do a listing appointment at 10 a.m. on Sunday?" And I just tell them, "Hey, you know, this is my priority, my schedule. I can't make it because I serve at church. I go to church on Sundays during that time, and God has honored that commitment that we've made to Him. And then moving on to pebbles. So you'll notice that there's a red arrow and a green arrow. And if you ask most people, you should do it in the green arrow order. So starting with prospecting, then doing lead gen, and then transaction follow up. So the way they word it is working in your business in the first, and then working on your business later on in the day. This is how I'm working. So the red arrow order is what's working for me right now. So in the morning, and a lot of it has to do with time schedules for our clients. Most of our clients are in the mainland, so anywhere from 3 to 6 hour time difference. And so I'll reach out to the clients, um, get anything I need from them, answer any questions I have or they have for me, and then and start moving on to doing some lead gen and prospecting. And so my current style of doing lead generation is sending video messages to people. So if somebody sends me a referral, it's like yesterday, one of my guys in my alumni network sent me a referral, and so today I'm going to send that guy a video message just so he can put a face to the name, and figure out if he likes me or doesn't like me. Maybe he sees my face and he's like, I just hate this guy, and then just ignores me. It makes life a lot easier instead of just trying to continually follow up with this person and then they just ignore you. And so I'll see if he watches that video and it starts to give you a feel of like what kind of re relationship you're going to have with that client. I use BombBomb. I think you can get a free account through your KB Core once you're with DXP, and it's like unlimited storage space and stuff. And so it makes it a lot easier to send videos that way instead of recording it on your phone, and sending it as a video file. You can upload it to that BombBomb website, and then it shows like a 3-second clip. So I usually do like a shotgun or something, or have a little message written on my phone that I show in the video, and then send that to them. And that helps, yeah, with starting to establish that relationship with people before you even meet them in person. Um, and then also following up with interested parties. So people that are already kind of shopping around, just seeing where they're at, as far as how motivated they are to shop, maybe sending them a video tour of a property. And so you'll hear a lot of like top producers say you need to duplicate yourself. And so if you have clients, or if you don't have clients at all, you're just getting started, just go out, pick a house that you want to do a showing for, go check it out, do a video tour. And in the video, you can just talk in general terms. So I shifted from, at first I would do it specifically for people, but now I use more general terms. So I'll just be like, hey, I'm here at 123 Main Street. I'm just doing a quick video tour. Here's the front of the house, blah, blah, blah. And point out things in the house that are like things that they don't think about, like, oh, in this room you could fit a queen size bed and nightstand, just to like give spatial references, but nothing specific to the person. Like, oh, this room would be perfect for Johnny and all of his toys. Um, and so you can take that video and send it out to multiple clients or multiple leads, or some random person that you just met and like, hey, check out this property that I just looked at. Um, and that's a way of make one 30-minute effort of setting up a showing, doing the video tour, uploading it to BombBomb. So you can take that effort right there and multiply it across 10, 20, 100 people that you send it to. Or you can make it like part of your newsletter. There's tons of different ways to do that. And then lastly, my current style of prospecting. So I went through a phase where I was doing the calling for a couple months, and just my personal stance on it right now. I do want to get back into it, but it was just too much of a kick in the gut for me, and I was putting efforts in other places and getting more back from it, and so I've chosen to go that route. But I do want to get back into prospecting. I think a big part of it, maybe I'm just making an excuse, but there's over 6,000 agents on Oahu, and so I myself as a realtor get calls from other realtors and their like calling assistants, like at least 2 to 3 times a day. And so focusing my effort on that in this market in Oahu just wasn't very fruitful for me. So I go on social media, go in all the Facebook groups about moving to Hawaii, military in Hawaii, all that stuff. I go in there and try to reach out to people, post in the different comments that people make or questions that people ask. A great way to do that I've mentioned before is to make blogs on your KV Core website, on your agent website, and then you can go look what the questions are, and then create a blog answering that question, and then drop your link for that to answer that question in that group, and then people will reach out to you. We've had at least let's say 4 or 5 people at this point, 4 or 5 clients that have closed, but a lot more that have just like reached out just to start the conversation about buying, selling, or renting. But yeah, at least 4 or 5 clients that we've closed that we've gotten from social media just by answering a question or posting our information, stuff like that. Another random idea about that is helping renters. So we don't. I guess if I wanted to, I could ask a landlord for a finder's fee for helping the renter. But out here in Oahu, it's so competitive with finding a rental property that I'd be disadvantaging the renter by asking for a finder's fee. So when I'm helping people they're committed to rent, but they need help showing a property, so because they're not physically here, or they just want me to help guide them through finding a property that's not going to have issues. I'll let the landlord or property manager know, hey, I'm not looking for a finder's fee, just helping friends find a place to rent. And some people think that's a waste of time because I'm not going to get anything out of it. But in my mind, I have the abundance mindset where I'm going to help this person, and this person's going to have a conversation down the road at some point, or maybe on Facebook, see somebody comment, and someone's going to ask, like, oh, do you know a good realtor that'll help me out and take good care of me? And my name is going to come to mind because they're going to be like, oh, yeah, this person helped me out. Like, I even asked him, like, if I could compensate him. He said no. And so, yeah, you should definitely work with this person. He'll help you, buy or sell your place. And then moving on to the sand and water. So professional training. I definitely recommend getting these items on your schedule. And they can be the last items that you put on, because a lot of them are recordings that, like on EXP World or on Facebook, that you can go back and watch when it's convenient for you. And another benefit of going back and watching it instead of attending live is you can usually crank it up to 2x, or you can do it while you're working out. And so 2x speed, you can watch it in half the time or watch it twice in the same amount of time, whichever technique works best for you. And then the last item, physical training. I think it's very important to maintain your physical health. It's a thing that's impressed upon us a lot in the military, and maybe it's not your cup of tea, but it is something that is important, because if you don't look out for your physical health, you're gonna end up taking years off of your life. One way I've always thought about this was because when I was young, when I was in my 20s, I was thinking if I just save a lot of money by eating crap food like top ramen, all that stuff, then I'll like have more money to be more financially healthy later on. But I came across a friend that was very different from the usual folks that I met, and he kind of was doing the opposite, but still doing really well financially. And he said, like, if you don't spend money on healthy food and put a lot of time and effort into maintaining your physical health, then you might save up a couple million eating ramen every day for the rest of your life, but your life is going to be shorter because you're putting poison into your body. And so if you make the time and effort to eat healthy and look out for your physical fitness, you might not be a billionaire when you're 60, but you're going to be a lot healthier, and you're going to feel a million times better than you would be if all you're focusing on is working and making money. Um, So that's pretty much all I've got for that piece. And then you see that little line at the bottom I put mission first. People always, you probably hear that phrase in the military about like how you should prioritize getting the job done over helping people in the military. But people are always a priority. So kind of the same idea. Yes, you need to get work done or else you won't have the time or resources to work out. But you can always fit a workout in your schedule. I just did a 15-minute jog this morning because I didn't have time to go for my usual run up the Lanikai pillboxes. And the last slide, you guys might be wondering what the heck this means. So in my little daily journal, I keep track of these items. And so the M is meat, the W is working out, S is sleep, and then the O is one flesh. And so um, the meat part. So if I go longer than like 3 days without eating red meat, I start feeling a little weird. So, and I just realized this morning because I hadn't filled out my journal in like 5 days. That I've gone like 6 days without eating meat, and this morning I woke up kind of feeling really out of it and have this like weird pressure in the right side of my head, and I realized it's been almost a week since I've had red meat. So I threw a steak in the air fryer, and I'm gonna have that after this meeting. I took a little bite before I got on this meeting. I'm already feeling a little bit better. So, um, and then the W is for working out. If I go longer than a couple days, start feeling weird. And same thing for sleep. Like if you don't get quality sleep, and so I add on to it every day. Like if I have bad sleep, like 3 nights in a row, then that'll be a 3. And so this helps you as you start the day, know like what type of mental position you're in so that when you're interacting with clients, when you're checking your email, when you're talking with your family, you know where you're at on a base level. And so if you haven't eaten, for me, if I haven't eaten meat in a week and I haven't worked out in a week and I've gotten crappy sleep for 5 days, then I'm like very alert to, all right, I need to keep in mind I'm going to have a pretty short fuse, or I'm going to have a really um, negative or not the best approach to everything. So I need to keep track of that so that I don't like get a text message from a client that's, hey, I'm worried about my property selling. I'm like, well, then cancel. Like that's not the right response. And that's what I might respond if I don't realize like I'm not in the best spot right now. And so keeping track of this helps you to know that, and then also to fix it so that um, if I am getting up to like 7 nights of not good sleep, then I'll set a reminder at that point on my phone at like 5 p.m. get to sleep ASAP, and so that I'll put work down and know that I'm starting to reach that point of diminishing returns and just need to get some rest or make some steak or go to the gym. Because like we talked about at the beginning of this presentation, those people that are doing really well because they're just going 10,000 miles an hour, they eventually reach that burnout point because they don't put things in order in their life. That's all I've got for today. Anyone have any questions, any feedback, input, things that work for them? Chris?
Yeah, just one other comment for the Sunday planning schedule. When I do mine on Sunday, as I'm looking forward to the upcoming week, I also reflect on the previous week that just happened to look at, did I hit my objectives? Did I meet my goals? Yes or no? Why or why not? Did I actually adhere to my schedule that I had set out, or did I totally just blow it off? And then I take those lessons learned and I try to apply it to the upcoming week as well.
Yeah, it's huge. Yeah, otherwise you're just reinventing the wheel every week. Anyone else? All righty. I'll stick around for a couple more minutes in case anyone has just general skill bridge or real estate or getting out of the military questions. Otherwise, have a wonderful day. Aloha.